I'll tell you this, like if you want a set of the gel polish, do it. Nobody has like written us disappointed at all. They've all been like, oh my God, this was like such a great purchase. So, okay, let me flip you guys down. But this is my dress for Ettavee week because I felt like it was very fitting for like the fun, fabulous, bright, happy floral colors. So anyway, so here is these are from last week. So if you want to watch this one, this was last week's Live with Lauren. So you can go ahead and watch last week's Live with Lauren to check out how to do those. So this week we have Ettavee. And these are the floral nails that I created for Ettavee week. You can see there is a lot of color in there. Look at all the color in there. And keep it forever and ever to just remind me of what a happy week this is. So just look closely before we begin at all. I'll hold it still so you don't get seasick. Well, that's silly. This does go on in one coat. It's very rich. This color is called Washed. So maybe I'll just try to give you some like bottleneck swishy stuff. But it's a very rich color, and it is one coat coverage for this particular color. Not all of our colors are one coat coverage, so please don't be misinformed. A lot, like some people go on their reviews and they're like, oh my God, it's like one coat coverage. Not every color is one coat coverage. So again, please just be informed that they're not all going to go on in one coat, but several of them do, and this is one of them. So there's your little bottleneck stuff. So the gel polish set comes in that carrying box, Angie, so good question. If you buy the individual colors, they just come to you in a box like this, and it has a little hole in the top so that you can see the color. So this is how your individual colors come. And then if you buy the whole set, it comes in the case. Now, we don't sell the case separately. I just do not have a way to sell you the case. So if you're someone who's cherry picked all of our colors and now you're like, I want a case, I'm so sorry. I don't have a case for you. I might be able to get extra swatch books. So just a FYI, if you buy the whole set, it does come with the swatch book. The swatch book is the one that's got like all the colors in it. They're already swatched for you. This is the one we're working with now so that you don't have to take the time to swatch them. This comes when you buy the whole set, like as a set, okay? So I don't have that available separately at this time. And I don't have the train cases available separately at this time. And it's something that I can look into doing in the future, but for right now, we just don't have it, okay? So anyway, we start with this blue. I put 2 coats of this blue and one coat probably, and then a matte top coat. So this is finished, not sticky. Let's talk about color theory. I'm going to ask you questions like you're out there in my classroom. Who knows what the opposite on the color wheel is of blue? I'm just going to wait for some answers to start rolling in. So who knows what the opposite of blue is? It's not yellow. That was a good guess, but it's not yellow. Kendra, you're right. It's orange. Yes, Phyllis, correct. Orange. So good. Courtney, you sound like you're on the right track. All right, good, Kathy. Yes, it's orange. All right, yes, good. So I'm actually going to make myself a little color wheel just to make things a little easier. This is the color called Living Coral. Yes, everybody's like, orange. So I'm going to put this just straight across from my blue, all right? Now, if I take some of my blue, I'm just going to illustrate what's going to happen if we try to just paint right on top of blue with orange. Now, honestly, like most people don't know the color wheel. Don't beat yourself up, okay? They're like, seriously, it's nothing to beat yourself up about. Here's some orange, all right? And watch what happens when we mix these two colors together. It just kind of turns into, I'm sure this could be a shade of foundation for somebody probably. Put a little more blue in there, but it's just gonna turn into a neutral. A brown, sometimes it actually goes kind of green when you mix these two together because orange is made from what two colors? Can you answer me that? Tell me what two colors will make orange. Like do, 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 do. Sorry, if you're watching this on replay, there's going to be just a bit of delay. Yes, good job, Nancy. Yellow and red. Yes, y'all are on it. So here's my yellow. Here's my red. Okay. Why do you think sometimes when you mix blue and orange together, you get a green? I'll tell you what it is. It's because if you're working with an orange that's got a lot of yellow, what color is made when you mix yellow and blue together? It makes green, okay? So that's why sometimes this kakapupu color, even though, you know, let's be real, it's not really kakapupu color. It's a nice taupe color. But when you mix these two colors together, you're going to get green, okay? So I'm going to, oops, shoot, got a little in the middle. Sorry about that, you guys. So there's our green. Now we've got one more little color theory thing to do. What color does red and blue make? Red and blue is going to give us purple. So I am going to grab perfect purple. And get us a dab of purple right there, okay? So this is like a basic color wheel, but what you need to know about this is you need to pay attention about what the opposites are. So yellow and purple are opposites. That means if I mix these two together in the middle here, I'm gonna get a brown or some like cucky type of, you know, just very not exciting color. If I mix red and green together in the middle, I'm gonna get a brown. But what you also need to know is that when I put these two colors next to each other, when I put some red next to some green, it really makes those colors pop. Like it almost enhances the other color to put them next to each other. This is called complementary colors. So even though they're opposite, they complement each other. So when you pair them together, they look great. As we're working on this nail that we're about to do, I'm trying to get really poppin', bold looking colors, all right? So that means that if I put a flower on this blue nail, what color will I choose that'll give me the poppinest color I can have? Like what is gonna pop the most when it's on a blue nail? That's gonna be your orange color. So I definitely want to make a flower that's got a lot of orange in it if I want this look to be really bright and obnoxious and fun and colorful, like obnoxious in the best way, okay? You don't want to go with, yeah, that's correct, Trisha. You don't really want to go with purple. You don't really want to go with green because those are so close to blue already. So Shauna, you can come back and watch it later, don't worry. So yeah, orange or even yellow or even red, something way on the other side of my color wheel, something in this range right here is really gonna look so great and it's really gonna pop against this. But What happens if I just try to paint straight on this blue with one of those colors? Like pretend these colors don't have quite as much pigment. They do have quite a bit of pigment. You'll probably still have the color really poppin' if you just go right on top, but pretend these don't have so much pigment. If I try to take a yellow and color it on top of the blue, what undertone are you really gonna see in there when you try to do that? And I can illustrate this for you. I am going to show you what happens because I feel like all of this is like very good to understand as you're working. So you're going to have a very green undertone. If I take this yellow, okay, and I try to just do a thin swipe, it doesn't look like this poppin' yellow, does it? It looks kind of like mucky. And it definitely has like just a very slight green undertone to it. Like if you look away and then you just look at the nail, what color would you think? Like if you're not looking at my palette, what color would you think I just swatched on the nail? It's kind of greenish, right? And here with the orange, I mean, again, like what color even is that? It doesn't really look like a true orange color or a true coral. It kind of looks like a little weird, like it's kind of, I don't know, it's just not really popping and it's almost like purple a little bit. It's kind of weird, right? I almost see like a purple in there, probably because this orange has a lot of red and red plus blue makes purple, right? Let's take our red, should definitely see a purple in this when I do this. So it's definitely like a dark red and it almost does have a little bit of a purple undertone to it, okay? So yes, Nancy, you nailed it. You're exactly right. What we wanna do to get the most pop when we're making Ettavee nails, okay, is be very much aware of what you chose for your background color and know that if you chose this blue, any of these colors on the opposite side of the color wheel more than likely are not really gonna pop. Okay, your purple will pop, your green will pop, but anything on the opposite. So say you choose red for the background of your Ettavee nail, or say you choose orange. Ashton did a beautiful set with this orange color. If she tries to paint with green, blue, or purple, and doesn't either do two coats or put an underneath color to sort of reset the background, these aren't really gonna just pop on their own, okay? So you don't necessarily need white, but you need a light color, all right? So what I'm gonna choose for my light color, I'm not gonna do white because I feel like it's just a little like extra to go all the way to white. I am going to go with, I like this yellow that we have. You could go with yellow, you could go with pink, any of these underneath a red, orange, or yellow, even white, you could do white, but any of these under a red, orange, or yellow are really going to support the intensity of those three colors. Would I put a pink under green? Not necessarily, okay? So I am gonna go with a yellow, but white's your safest choice. But I really like this yellow. I do expect to get a bit of a green hue when I do this, okay? So don't be scared of it if that happens. So I'm gonna get a little bit of this yellow color, all right? And I am just so rough draftily, if that's a word, going to quickly, and I'm using the indigo brush. I like that word, rough draftily. I am rough draftily because we don't want this to take like all day. Just quickly. These flowers are gonna have so many layers of color, okay? You don't have to sit here and make perfect petals. You'll make yourself bonkers if you like try to perfect the underlayers. The purpose of the underneath layer is to sort of give myself a bit of a boundary to follow as I'm working. But more than anything else, it's just to give myself a little bit of a color background. So there's no sense. And for those of you who are perfectionists, which I feel like is a lot of you, because there's just a lot of nail techs that are perfectionists. They make great nail techs. But for those of you who are perfectionists, you'll drive yourself batty perfecting under layers that don't even matter. So just don't. How about that? Like, just don't. For the center of the flower, I'm going to go with a rich blue. So I'm going to choose this Sunny Blue. Are we safe putting Sunny Blue on top of our washed blue? Absolutely. We're going to have no trouble at all. So I've cured my yellow there. I'm going to come in, and y'all, this is like where you just get to be like, la, 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 la. I feel like Pee-wee a little as I'm painting. Just get it in there, all right? You can even, Phil, it's a great question. There's really not a lot of brush prep that you have to do. Just spit on them. I'm just kidding, but kind of not, but I kind of am. No, you really don't have to do. They don't come with starch in them or anything like that. I'm even going on top of that wet blue gel polish with some purple, okay? What you can do also is if you want to pull a little bit of this purple up onto the start of your petals, you can. There's like really not a lot left. But it's really kind of a messy, at this point, a messy process. So, all right, we will cure that. All right, spit really does work well. Like, I think professionally I can't say that, but, you know, just between me and you, a little spit does the trick. All right. Don't leave here being like, Lauren told me to spit on my brushes. All right, I'm gonna get a pink. I'm looking at this flower that we've done already, okay? And I can definitely see that pink really popping through. I'm gonna get me a little blob of pink. This is actually called Pep Rally. This is my favorite color that we have. I'm not a pink girl. I freaking hate pink, okay? But there's just something about this pink that I like. It's an extra special pink for me to like it. All right, so here we go. We are going to come just down like one side of our petal with this pink, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm having fun. I'm not stressing out. I'm just being like swash with my pink. Like, wee, who cares? Let's finger paint. She actually, Ettavee actually does a lot of finger painting. It's pretty amazing. Done. If I was doing this, not all the way done. If I was doing this on a client, I would literally do each step like on all the flowers. So I would go around to every flower and I would be like swash with the pink. And then I would stop and do a cure. Okay. Let's take a look in here and see. Now, let's start applying some color theory here real quick. What is the opposite of pink or red? What is the opposite? I know you guys know because we have our color wheel right here. We're going to cheat. So the opposite is green. We're going to maybe work with a little bit of this matcha color just to have fun. This bright green color would work too, but you know, you typically don't see it on flower petals. So I'm going to go with that matcha color just for something a little more fun. Before I do that though, I want to get just a little squeak of, yeah, I'm just doing a 30-second flash cure in an LED. I actually have my little flash cure light hooked to my desk, so I'm just sticking it under my flash cure. But I'm going to get in here and just like maybe around the top of this. Do you see where I'm putting that little bit of orange? Just a little squeak of orange. I swear the more carefree you are as you guys work, the better this will turn out. So this is a week where you're like, you have to turn the precision artist in you off. You just have to turn it off. And you have to be like, okay, I'm going to be like not such an anal nail artist. You got to just kind of let it go and have some fun. I think we're going to get every color of the rainbow in this flower, and it's going to be really fun. All right, so here we go. Next color, let's work with our matcha, and let's get some of the matcha down the other side of the nail. And I don't even like care, right? If it's just like, look at the way that this petal is like, it's gonna make that petal even more awesome. All right, so cure this. There's a lot of just like curing steps in between, but when you're doing this across multiple nails, definitely it doesn't feel like, oh, like, you know, you would be curing your one hand while you're working on the other hand right now. If I was in the salon, I would do maybe like the ring finger and the pinky. And I think that would be a great look for accent nails for this, so that like, you know, so that the client's nails doesn't end up costing them $1 zillion. Because if you had to do this on every nail, you would be like, you know, it would get crazy. All right, so next up, if you look real close, we've got some light blue in there, and then we've got some purple. So let's get our light blue. We just kind of come right, we are coming over top of our pink. So we do know that when we mix pink and light blue, or pink and blue, that it is gonna give us kind of a purpley color or a purple undertone, and we just don't care because purple's pretty, right? As long as we're not making cuckapoo-poo. So again, flash curing. I know, I keep on, so here's the flash cure situation over there. Now y'all can see it. I've got my little light. So I just keep on moving it over there to flash cure. And yeah. This is, I do love this type of art because it is very carefree, and it actually, like, it can be fast if you turn your perfectionist off. You have to find your perfectionist button, and you literally just need to, like, give it a break and turn it off. And so now let's get a little purple in here. This purple comes out a little bit on the strong side, so I will go back and soften it just a bit. Okay, and I'm also going to take that purple and I'm going to come around in here just a bit. Another thing that you can do if you really want to, okay, this is if you really like your client and you want to like go the extra mile. I always laugh because I feel like some of my clients might be watching this, and they're probably, some of my old clients, and they're probably like, wonder if she like dreaded doing my nails, or if I was one of the people that she would go the extra mile on. I did go the extra mile on like 99% of my clients. I did love them. They were really awesome people. Very supportive. Some of them, like, you know, could see their true colors when I quit doing nails. Some of them were like really so supportive and excited for me, and other ones were so PO'd. Like, it was like a bad breakup, and I was like, ooh. But you know what's funny is, like, when they first come to you, if they sit there and talk bad about their last nail tech, you know they're going to do the same thing once you have your breakup with them at some point, regardless of what the nature of that might be. So I'm always sitting there listening to them vent about their old nail person, and I'm like, oh boy, they're going to be talking about me to the next person they end up with. I'm using the indigo brush for all of this. So we're about at the part where we can start adding, you know, the center detail and some of these little lines and all that sort of stuff. What we're going to do first is take one last look, see if there's any splash of color that we feel like is missing, and then we're going to put this dark color right in the center of the flower. So we can use really any color that you want. Just know that, like, if you decide, oh, I want the flower to have a coral center, well, you can't put like coral on top of purple and expect it to show up. So you might have to go back to that. The reason I like using the artist gel paints is that they're tack free. So you can just like slap that on, cure it, and you're good to go. The gel's not going to really move around. It's not going to move around on you, which is nice, especially when you're doing a lot of layers. So you know what? I feel like let's do a bright center. Like let's go for it. I'm going to do a bright, I think maybe like a bright pink center. So I am going to come in here with the Wildflowers artist gel paints. I'm going to take this like Pepto looking pink here. And I am going to come in the center. So we are going to do this one just a little. Now, I'm not going to go all the way out around the edge. I'm going to leave sort of a dark border in here. And it's really going to kind of give this nail the illusion of depth. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll put some little like pokey spots inside of it for fun, okay? Make sure that if you do something kind of over on the side of your nail, when you flash cure your nail, that you're hitting the side of it and not just, you know, hitting it from the top. All right, so it still looks a bit like a hot mess, but I'm gonna take, ooh, what color pink, you guys? I feel like we need kind of an annoying pink. Dipstick. This is the one I named after my father-in-law. This is an annoying pink to me. And he always would pick it for my mother-in-law when I would do her nails, and I was always just like, ugh. I guess I like cool pinks, like cool toned pinks, and I like light colored cool toned pinks. So this is a light colored cool tone pink. It has more of like a bluish purple undertone to it. This one has more of like an orangish reddish undertone to it, and I gravitate to this side of the color wheel. I like purples, I like greens, I like all the cool colors. You might be the opposite, and you might gravitate towards all of these like warmer colors, the corals, the yellows, the reds. So, you know, that's a lot of times how people are. If people like the red, orange, yellow stuff, like that's just their thing. It might look good on them when they get dressed. You know, those colors might look great. So that might be their choice all the time. For me, I just really like the cools. I like the cools. So I'm going to get this on here, and I don't even care that it's not perfect coverage. Like, I don't care about that at all. So, okay, we have to put a coat over top of this. So we are going to, let's make a decision here. If you want to do some detailing, so these little tiny white lines are actually a detail that I added after my top coat was on the nail, which you can do with the Artist Gel paints because it cures tack free. So you can finish your nail and then go back and create the tiniest little texture on top of the nail with that white paint and not worry about having to top coat it. I think before we top coat though, I'm gonna do some of these little white dots around the edge. We can put some little like pocks of color into the center of the flower. I vote for black for that. That is my vote. So I'm gonna get just the black gel polish from Wildflowers. It's called Void. Actually, this is Chef Crispy. Let's use Chef Crispy. I burnt stuff yesterday when I was cooking. This is named after me. My family calls me Chef Crispy. So I'm gonna take Chef Crispy and I'm gonna come in here I burnt the crap out of some chicken yesterday because I couldn't get a jar open. I had to go all the way upstairs to ask my husband to do it, which, you know, he loves being the hero. So it was fun, but by the time I came down, I was like, and then I was like, oh no, because I just could smell the burntness. So there's that. Before we cure this, I'm gonna switch brushes now. So I've done everything up to this point using the indigo brush. I'm gonna now switch to the magenta brush. And I'm gonna start working with the Artist Gel paints. And I'm gonna put these little dots in here. Now, I want these dots to not look like round circles. I want them to actually have, okay, let me show you a technique. Pause. Let's get in close here so you guys can see this. All right. Basically, do you see when I dip into the Artist Gel paint, how I have almost a tear shape? You can use your magenta brush and you can actually push down And when you push down, it gives you a little tiny teardrop shape. This is how you make microscopic daisies, okay? Sorry, you guys, I had a little coffee this morning. I really shouldn't have. So if you're trying to make like itty bitty daisies on someone's nail, this is how you do this. Little tiny, just press down on your brush and just keep on turning and keep on turning. You'll have the most adorable daisy you've ever made in your life, okay? So I want the little dots around this to look like fun little daisy petals. So I'm going to press and press and press. You'll get even more of a daisy petal and an even better daisy petal if you use the black brush. But I already have this one out, so you're gonna get what you're gonna get and you're not gonna throw a fit. Pressing, pressing, pressing. I'm typically getting about 3 or 4 out of each little press that I do. This is where it all starts to come together and get kind of fun, okay? Oh, so cute. Okay. The other thing I'm gonna do before I apply top coat is you will notice that I have these little like green spots on here. And hopefully I have some ink within reach. Oh, yes, I do. Thank God, because I was like, well, we might just have to skip that step. So these little green spots are actually done with ink. So before I cure this, I'm going to grab, I've got some inks here. Let's talk this through real quick before I do it, okay? If I try, now these are transparent colors. If I try to put red on top of blue, what am I going to get? I know y'all know this. I'm going to just wait for y'all to answer. We're going to get a purple, okay? Now I have a green. I could use a green, but I also have a yellow. And I'm going to put the yellow because I know that I'm not really gonna get yellow. I'm gonna get kind of like a tealy color, like a green, a tealy green. So you can go in here with the inks if you want to and just give it some blobs. Did you see how fast that was? It was just like blah, blah, blah. All right. I would also go with the blue. I don't have it on hand, but if I had it on hand, I would take my blue and I would do a little blue blobs too. It's just to put some like soft background color around the flower and do something. If this was actually going to be the person's nail, I would probably just sweep a few petals over this way. Just to have something like, I'm just going to do this really quick for you because I know it might be kind of difficult to envision. So just slap these on. I'm not even going to cure in between at this point. I'm just going to be real crazy and just, you know, getting some yellow in there. Like, what the heck? Just make something visually happening in the corner here. Maybe a little pink, maybe a little matcha. Bam. Wait, too much red. All right. So just to get there, just to get something happening in that corner for the purpose of balance. All right, cooking this, we're gonna top coat it, and then we're gonna do that little detailed line, and we'll be all set. I did go very slow on this. I hope that you guys realize that when you're doing this in real life, you saw how fast I just slapped together the petals in the corner, right? So when you're doing this in real life, you do not have to go as slow as I did. If I was gonna do this nail on a client, okay, somebody came in and this is a huge nail, this is a thumbnail size, But if somebody like really wanted this on their nails and said to me, you know, I used to work, I didn't charge for the like nail art in like, I didn't nickel and dime people after a while. After a while, I just started charging for my time. It was so much easier to just charge for my time. So I would say, how many of these could I fit in a 15-minute block? I could give them probably 2 flowers, like 1 on each hand in 15 minutes. But if they gave me 30 minutes, which would be $20 extra, I could definitely get the ring fingers and the pinky fingers on both hands. So before you cure, you guys, I always tell you to hang your nail upside down. It's important to hang your nail upside down. What this does is it just fixes your light lines so that you don't have like a lumpy, bumpy nail. We're gonna give that a full 30-second cure. All right, let's talk about these little white details. Another great thing about the Artist Gel Paint is that stuff does not move. So it's a great one for when you're doing little tiny details and you're trying to get everything to just stay in place, right? So to do really thin lines with the Artist Gel Paints, if you feel like this stuff is too thick for you to work with to do a line, so say we're just trying to mimic this A, okay? You should be able with light pressure to get a fairly thin line, all right? If it makes you nervous and you're like, oh, this stuff feels a little too thick, all right, you can take a little tiny dab of the Wildflowers Top Coat Gel and you can whip your white around in that. And what it's gonna do is, I'm gonna add just a touch more. It is gonna loosen this up, okay? It will change the pigmentation just a little bit. But for some of you, you might feel like it's just a little smoother to paint with if you add just a little bit of the top coat gel to your white. Okay, so please remember that little tip from Lauren. Tips from Lauren. So add, this is the top coat gel. Add just the tiniest little drop. Whip it all around. I was watching that British design show and now I'm turning into Mary Poppins every 5 minutes. Just makes it flow a little more on your brush, okay? So we hung our nail, we cured our nail. Now this is where the nail's really gonna start to pop. So what you don't wanna do is pretend like, you know, you're trying to get this exactly perfect. You want to have some fun making that line. So do you see how I didn't follow exactly? I just kind of was like, well, you know, maybe the petal only comes to here, but I'm gonna make it look like it actually has some of the background blue in it, and I'm gonna send it all the way over to there. So this is where now suddenly this design starts to kind of morph and look way more fine art. Why did I skip a petal? I don't know, I just felt like it. All right. Here, let me tell you guys something. This is like one of the best tricks I could ever teach you guys. So pretend this is my client. And she's facing me like this, and I'm working on her nail, and I feel like I'm very strong with my brush. Like, okay, I got 2 things to tell you. When you thin your top coat or add top coat, do you see how it's gonna pull back from the tip like that? Do you see how I have like a little, looks like a little stinger of like a, what is that, scorpion or something? Okay, this is what happens when your gel loosens up. So you're gonna have to constantly roll your brush and then hurry up and go to the nail and paint with it. If you use the Artist Gel Paint straight out of the container, you're not gonna have that issue. So just be aware, it is gonna change the viscosity of the gel. Okay, back to the tip. If you feel like this right here is your strength and you're like, you know, I can paint really good pulling the brush towards me. But when it comes to like getting back here, I'm very uncomfortable, okay? It's really weird. Have your client turn their hand like this for you. So they'll be like, oh, okay, no problem. Bam, look what just happened. that hard spot just came right into my comfort zone. And I can be like, hey, and I can paint that little leaf on there, okay? So don't forget, your client's hand moves and you can twist it around however you want. Now, another thing that's kind of fun is you can get a little crazy, and I think for the sake of fine art and, you know, all things good, it's fun to go outside of the lines. It makes it look more sophisticated. So I'm going to come in here and just be like, whee! And add just some little, like kind of, now keep it delicate, people. You don't want to come in here with like a big fat line of white and just be like, yeehaw, because then it's going to like steal all the attention off the rest of the nail. So if you want to come in here and get a little squiggly with your stuff, you can do that, but I'm telling you, like, go easy, all right? Go easy on it. We also have this guy up in the corner. So we'll give these a very quick outline. When you are doing thin lines, okay, and you can see they get thick and thin. They're not perfect. They don't have to be perfect. But when you're doing these types of thin lines, try to keep your brush like this, okay? Try to work perpendicular to your nail. Don't be like trying to work with your brush like laid to the side, okay? Keep your brush straight up and down perpendicular to the nail as you're working, and you will just, what happens is it'll just, oh God, look what I did, you guys. It'll just touch those two, see these two little hairs? When I try to work on my side, I get that big blob of white and it just like gets crazy and it gets fat. But when you're trying to get a skinny line, stand up straight, okay? And I can get in here with the tiniest little tip of my brush. And I know you all, can you see that swirl I just made? This was a horrible color choice to demonstrate this technique on. Let me wipe myself off before I get this on my dress. Let me show you the same thing on here because I feel like it'll really help a lot of you. A lot of people try to do fine lines and they want to hold their brush off to the side like this. And then what happens is they end up getting kind of a fat line because the side of the brush is hitting. So what I am encouraging you to do is, sorry you guys, I'm trying to hold this. I think I got a dog hair happening. What I encourage you to do is stand your brush up straight, because you can do swirls, you can do the most delicate stuff. Can y'all see the difference there? So the first one, I had my brush laid to the side a little bit. The second one, I have my brush completely perpendicular to the nail. You will get hair thin lines if you hold your brush perpendicular, okay? So please, please don't wreck all of this beautiful work that you've done on this flower by tilting your brush to the side, all right? Keep your brush upright. And then, of course, one of the last finishing touches that we'll do, God, I keep putting my... One of the last finishing touches that we'll do for this nail is, y'all can see these little dots. Those little dots are just created for some balance. So we can come in here and boop, 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 boop. Just add a few cute little dots there. Maybe some up in the corner. Did I give you an aha moment, Trisha? I feel like I taught you that at Master Artist Week, but there's no humanly possible way to retain everything I teach. Master Artist Week especially, it's like just so much. So just some little like fun dots like this, it just continues that like fun, playful feeling, okay? All right, yeah, it's not humanly possible to retain all that information. Hey, Miss Cat, miss you. Oh God. What did I just do? So we just have to give this a final cure, but these are the Ettavee nails. So if you missed it, if you're just joining now, you guys can rewind this or you can watch it. I'm going to leave it on my Facebook page, but this is how this is created. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long. It's a lot of sloppy kind of quick sloppy art. Obviously you can see I'm making a sloppy mess of myself right now as I teach you guys this, but just to show you, I'm gonna pull some other nails up here just to show you quickly some of the different color variations. All right. I love this one with the teal flower center. I think it's so cute. But now as you look at these, especially hopefully after watching this live, you will understand how these were all done. And you can see, I love the look of the double white lines. That's like an Ettavee thing. So again, if you guys want to play along with us this week and you want to create some art that's inspired by Jessie Rolay's beautiful artwork, be sure to tag the artist, and she is at Ettavee, Ettavee. Don't forget, we are having a sale on the Wildflowers gel polish. It's our deal of the week. So the open stock bottles are $10 a pop. Okay. I know, Jenna, you are gonna be in a week of, hey, you know what though? Like this nail for you, Jenna, I feel like it's like half and half because you do get to do precise lines. So you do have that going for you. You will get some precise lines. So this is a giant one. Yeah, go clean your kitchen, Santi. I know, I feel you. My kitchen could use a little cleaning too. This was like a huge Ettavee flower that I did on this nail today. Obviously, you can go much smaller. Just wanted you to be able to see like the size of that in comparison. Hey, do you know about our premium subscription education at Wildflowers? We have an amazing website that is absolutely loaded with very organized educational nail content. You are gonna love it. It's super affordable. We already have over 40 lessons loaded in there, and we drop a brand new course in there every single week for our subscribers. Not only that, we have an amazing Facebook community called The Greenhouse where we do giveaways. We just did one the other day and we must have given away like 8 different prizes. It's just a really fun place to be, surrounded by people with a similar interest. We all love nails and we all love nail art. So I just wanted to let you know about it. You can find out more information by going to wildflowersnails.com and clicking on Academy at the top of the page. We at Wildflowers would love to invite you to join us in person for Master Artist Week. It's 8 intensive nail workshop classes packed into a fun week sprinkled with all sorts of nail shenanigans. Come and take that next step. We would love to have you.